Crazy new launch prices. Can you still make any money or not? Alright, let's go to point number 2. So point number 2, we are actually going to look at a couple of case studies of some land purchases, some of the developments that you know is very popular. So let's look at the figures. So what we have here right now is the figures for Park Esta. Now, if you know Park Esta is at Eunos MRT, right opposite Eunos MRT, I remember at a time when I was trying to promote Park Esta to some of my buyers, I deemed this as a very good development. I actually rated it 5 stars. I asked all my customers to buy this. I was saying something like, I sure make money one. Okay, don't make money, I chop off my head for you. Now, luckily, my buyers made a lot of money. My head is still intact. If not, today cannot be talking to you. Okay, but jokes aside. Now let's look at the figures for Park Esta. Alright, land is 959 million. Construction cost is 316 million. All these figures are standard. What we as a developer, we actually would factor in as a percentage that we use. Now, break-even cost was 1446 as an estimate. Now, Park Esta, if you remember at that time, you could get it for between 1,500, 1,600. But I remember at that time, 1,600 was to a lot of buyers crazy expensive. And they were telling me things like, prices have never hit so high before. 1,600, are you sure I'm going to make money? Sure cannot make one. I tell you, if you ask me to buy this, if you don't make money, how? It's a very high risk, prices are so high. But I remember at that time, I still insist that, some of the factors, considering that Eunos that side, you don't have a lot of new launches there, and you're right smack opposite the MRT. You got food choices there, you're close enough to the city. So I said that the supply over there is very, very little, and this development will stand out when it's completed, and it will be very high demand. Whether is it rental, whether is it for own stay, it will be very high demand. Right, that is why I had that confidence that this development will do well, and a lot of my buyers really make a lot of money. So if we look at what is happening, so I'm going to pull out side by side right now the other comparison. So this one is for Grand Diamond. If you look at the land price, of course, land price is a lot higher compared to this. So this is pre-COVID and post-COVID. Of course, the difference in number of years is quite significant also lah. But if you notice one thing, construction costs went up. Right now it's about 371 million. But what is very significant right now, if you notice, even though the land price it's only about 300 million difference, but the interest actually shoot up. Land financing is now 202 million, so it shoot up quite a lot, right? Professional legal taxes also shoot up. Marketing price shoot up. Everything, the cost all, as for a developer, the cost all went up across the board. No, so end up your break-even price, it's now at 2,292 per square feet, and that is why the developer sell in the mid 2,000 plus per square feet for Grand Diamond. The prices have gone up in every single segment, from the land to the construction to the land financing to the legal fees, taxes, marketing, everything has shoot up. And in this case, what is the point that I'm driving at? If the costs are not coming down, how can the developer expect to sell you cheap? So right now, what I'm experiencing is that, this what I call the COVID effect. Why we are saying the COVID effect? Because if you notice one thing, before COVID happened, prices for a lot of resale property prices were stagnant. I remember that my client who was selling before COVID, sell his EC, he only made 200 over 1,000. But people that sell EC, the MOP recently, what are they making? 400,000, 600,000 or more, 700 over 1,000. But the same, and this is considered the same estate, the last time when my client sell is only 200 over 1,000 profit. The COVID effect has increased prices across the board. Everything from resale prices also never make money, one can break even or make a bit. Those that make little make a lot. So this is the COVID effect on property prices. Will it actually happen again? I hope not, because I don't want another pandemic to happen to anybody. But something happened, something unique like this happened and push property prices up. So now what we are seeing is a consolidation. Consolidation doesn't mean a drastic drop. If the prices for interest, construction, every other thing, taxes and all that are not coming down, the land cost come down a little bit, it doesn't mean that it's gonna across the board, oh, you're gonna see less than 2,000 per square feet, a lot of lower than 2,000 per square feet new launches. It just will not happen, because what we know in the market right now is 2,000 per square feet is the new baseline. Alright, anything you get below that is a bonus. Of course, I wish property prices will come down, because then I can buy some more and my customer can buy some more. It's harder for property agents to sell when it's a record high. So I rather property prices come down. But in reality, I don't expect much consolidation of prices. Now for point number 3, can you still make any money buying the current new launches at the current prices? Now, let's face the fact. Singapore property market, if you look at most of the time, anybody that bought any new launch, more or less you are always at the record price at that time. I remember when I bought my EC, it was at about $732 per square feet. To you may think that, wow, so cheap. But I can tell you, at that time when I bought 730 per square feet, other projects near me that were launched a bit earlier, they were selling $600 over. Before that was $500 over per square feet. But in reality, when I sold off the property, it is also because that I recently sold during last year during COVID time. I actually made more because of that COVID effect. So that's my benefit. But in reality, would I have made at least 200 over 1,000? Yes. But because of the COVID effect, I made more. Right? But if you look at a lot of the new launches, a lot of my clients, they actually did manage to make 100 over 1,000, 200 over 1,000. But those that have sold recently, due to the COVID effect, they actually made a significantly more in terms of profits. Now, reality is this: those that are buying 2,000 over dollars per square feet, you are buying at prices that have not been tested. No one has a crystal ball. If any property agent or developer or property consultant or guru tell you that, sure make money, that person is lying. Nobody knows whether or not you will make money, because it's very dependent on when you actually offload the property. Your timing plays a part, right? But what is more important is also your ability to hold the property. So for example, if I don't have the ability to hold the property, the funds to hold the property, I would actually sell during, maybe I sell at a time where market is down. I will make less, or maybe it's a loss. But if I hold it to the right time with my holding power, I can actually wait for the right time and sell it at a market high. What is a very main important factor for me is this. Are there other developments nearby that can form a support level for my property? For example, Grand Diamond is selling at this price point, the mid 2,500s. Eventually, I think by the time they sell finish will be about 3,000 per square feet. Now, are there any other projects? Continuum. So this kind of projects, if you're selling at the same price, then end of the day, you can see that they will form a price support for each other. So now no owners will want to sell at a loss if any possibility to make any money, right? So if you have nearby developments as a price support, that would also form the baseline so that you will see that overall that estate, the prices are like this one. Like right now, I stay in Punggol, all the ECs around here, when they see that, what was the latest that TOP was the terrace. So when the terrace TOP, their prices were all-time high, all the ECs also try to push up, all the owners try to push up their price to follow. Because one break the record only, the rest will try to see whether their prices can achieve that level or not. So these are the things that I would say, is there opportunity to make money? Yes, unless there is a worldwide crisis that suddenly make the prices and the demand go sky high. If not, we'll be looking at probably they can still easily make maybe 100, 200,000, but you need a major price increase, a major crisis happening to break the new high, and in the end to be able to achieve a good $400,000-$500,000 for mass market. $400,000-$500,000 profit is a lot. So you need a miracle to hit that kind of figures again. But I don't expect them to lose, but I don't expect them to make so much buying at current new launch prices. So how can you increase your chances of making a profit? These are the points right here. Number one, select your property development carefully. Now, we know that some developments generally will make money, some will lose money. Location is one factor. Some agents are trying to push you by master plan transformation. But you imagine if, like my earlier example where the property developer overpaid the next highest bidder by 42%, do you think he's going to sell you at a reasonable price? So if the property developer overpaid, you shouldn't be buying this kind of developments. The chance of you making money is going to be lower. So what property development can buy, cannot buy, choose your advisor, property advisor properly. They can guide you to the right development. But questions you should be asking will be, what is the break-even price? Are the prices comparable with what has launched? Is there any price support as what I mentioned in the previous point? So these are the factors that you should be considering for project itself only. Alright, there are other many factors. Of course, I will cover that. So for customers who appoint me for a one-to-one, I actually have a framework that I follow, but I will not share that framework over here. Now, another thing is this. Your unit layout is important, because I do have customers who bought Somerset MRT. Walking distance to the entire Somerset area, Killiney side. But their layout is so bad that nobody wants to stay. Not even tenants want to stay. And every single time they want to rent out, I have a big headache. Right? At one stage, this particular property had 150 viewings done by 10 agents over 2 years, cannot rent out. And heng, I am the one that come in. I'm the number 11 agent. And I managed to settle that rental in, I think, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. Okay. Now, the other factor is this: time your property purchase. Doesn't mean that now record high prices you cannot buy, but if you add in the other factors like choosing your development properly, choosing your layout properly, see whether you're entering at the right price, anytime there's a possibility of making a profit. But of course, I also have seen customers who think that prices will drop. They just keep on waiting and waiting and waiting, and until today they are still waiting. People make $400,000-$500,000, they are still waiting. Then they just keep getting priced out of the market. So timing is important, but sometimes it's better to be in it than totally out of it. Now, watch your entry price. Don't overpay. As I mentioned just now, I would say is this: I've come across a lot of my, other fellow property agents. Mainly is they don't really share what is the correct entry price for a development, right? Because the correct entry price will determine whether or not you make money. Because if you go in at the wrong price, I can guarantee you, you will lose. So this is a very important factor, and please find out all you need to find out before you take the plunge. Don't just blindly trust whoever is advising you, because I also will not expect you to blindly trust me if you appoint me. Next point, conduct extensive research on neighboring resale developments. Why? Because the neighboring developments, generally if they are older, they tend to be bigger. Now, if a buyer can actually get a bigger development much cheaper, significantly cheaper than your one, generally if it's not too old, they would go to the resale development. So your development, does it have unique factors, unique facilities? Does it have a wow factor that when somebody goes to that project, they just want to stay there? And the older developments out there just don't hold a candle, cannot even be compared. Then this development you can consider. That is one major factor. And last but not least, always have an exit plan before you purchase the property. What do I mean by that? Especially when it comes to property, you must already know how long you're going to hold this property. What is your profit potential? Are there multiple stages at which a buyer come in? Like today I buy, okay, I sell to my next buyer. Can my next buyer still make profit or not? Because if there are a few stages, then people will see that, hey, there's a potential because I buy already, I can still expect to make another 100,000. Then of course, this buyer is going to see that development more favorable, because who wants to buy a loss-making property, right? So this one is what we mean by, if you know your exit points. Like for example, when I buy my EC, I know that upon MOP, I have one exit point. First one, that one is selling to Singapore and PR, 5 years. 10 years, I can sell to foreigners because it privatized already. So I got my next exit point. Then after that, if you are talking about when I will reach my peak potential, maybe it's year 15 or year 20. So with your property advisor, plan out when you think that if I want to sell at year 20, this one, what is my potential? Do you think I can make money or not? If there's a potential, go for it. If I'm buying a resale property, for example, if the trend has always been losing money, even at this market right now, where people are lost money, will break even, and you're still losing money, then you better exit as soon as possible. So, in conclusion, we all know this saying: what goes up must come down. Property always moves in a cycle. If you see stock market also always move in a cycle. Singapore property has the benefit that the new high is always higher than the previous high. So that's all for me. If you enjoyed this video, do remember to like, subscribe, follow me, and put more comments in the box below on what questions you would like me to answer, and I'll try to cover it in my next video. If not, thank you so much. Bye.